Okay, perfect, Rohit. Now we are live. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody who's joining us from different parts of the world. Today we have a very, very distinguished guest to discuss on a very important and pertinent topic. But before we start off and introduce the guest and the topic, I just want to do a quick sound check, video check for all those who've logged in, all those who have joined us today. Can you hear us clearly? Can you see the videos, sound and audio, and video is good or not? You can just type yes in the comment box. That would be great. Okay, I see one or two yeses, which means anybody who's logging is able to see and hear us clearly. So perfect. Thank you so much, Rohit, for joining us. So let me start off by introducing our guest for today's discussion, Rohit Adlaka. Rohit is, and I'm going to give a very brief introduction and maybe hand it over to you, Rohit, to walk us through your career journey. But Rohit is an ex Chief Digital and Chief Information Officer and the Global Head of Wipro Homes, which was the division, or which is the division within Wipro which deals with automation and artificial intelligence. And the only thing I'll highlight before I hand over to Rohit is around his three mantras, which I find quite fascinating around is it re-engineering, redesigning, and is it rethinking, Rohit? Or
There are a lot of re's, including
yeah.
re-implementing. Yeah.
So maybe let's start off with that. Walk us through your career journey, how you ended up being in this very interesting space, and the three mantras, and why those define who you are.
Thanks, Harsh. It's fantastic to be on LinkedIn Live. This is my first show,
Brilliant.
and absolutely wonderful to be speaking to you. Yeah, I've had quite a journey. Some people say it's a journey of a lifetime. I completed 25 and a half years in a company called Wipro. I'm sure you would have heard of it. Fresh from college, I never imagined that when I joined on May 30th, 1995, that I'll end up
Hmm.
spending so many years in the company, but here I am. And a very
Wow.
fascinating journey, 16 different roles. Uh,
Wow.
when I joined Wipro, we were about less than 100 million. We are now 8.25 billion as a company, less than
Wow.
5,000 people, now 200,000 people, seven CEOs. So it's been an absolutely, lively journey, if I may say so. The last three roles which I was handling, and there's the joke going around in the company that I have the maximum number of CXO titles. So I was a CDO, Chief Digital Officer, the CIO, which is the Chief Information Officer, and the CAO, which is the Chief Automation Officer. And I had
Oh.
put in one more title on my own, which is CEO, which is Chief Experience Officer, since I was driving IT and employee experience. So,
Hmm.
and it's been a momentous decision for me. Just about last week, I decided to move out of Wipro, where I've spent more than a lifetime. And here I am as a non-Wiproite. Today is my sixth day. So it's a different life, different journey, but the energy and enthusiasm absolutely continues.
Perfect. So great to hear about your career journey and CAO, Chief Automation Officer. I'm hearing for the first time. Let's. I'll be really honest. And even the CEO, which is a Chief Experience Officer, is something I'm also hearing for the first time. But welcome to the show and thank you so much for taking time off. Before I proceed further, you spoke something about your career and your journey. Tell us something which people don't know about you.
Uh, I try and be fit as much as possible. A lot of people know it when they see me. But
Hmm.
of course, a lot of inspiration comes in from my wife, who's a health and wellness coach, and she exercises 7 days a week. I only do 3 days a week, so I
Wow.
have some catching up to do there. And just about 2 years back, I started my spirituality journey. I think it's all within us, but it kind of erupted when I attended a course called Inner Engineering. If you're familiar with Sadhguru and
Hmm.
Isha Yoga
Yeah.
Center in
Yeah.
Coimbatore, it's
Hmm.
just luck by chance. In some sense, I was drawn towards the program and drawn towards Coimbatore. And ever
Hmm.
since, it's been an absolute delight, absolute journey to spirituality and higher consciousness. I can, firmly believe that with my 25 years of business experience, with 46 years of biological experience, with 2 years of hardcore spiritual experience, it's a really exciting journey for me.
So you are at an interesting confluence of spirituality and technology, actually, in a way, which is great to know. Perfect. Uh, so Rohit, today we're going to discuss and take your views around this whole topic around leadership and agility, right? And especially we hear this term a lot, be agile, adaptable in these uncertain times. And I know you are a big proponent of agility, as not just as a form of leadership, but also a mindset, really, right? So let's start off with that, right? Saying, what is your sort of textbook definition of agility?
By definition, people think that agility is speed, but
Hmm.
I think the entire digital experience that we're driving for enterprises and for the personal world, the fact that everything is user experience based, everything is intuitive, everything is personalized, there are no silos in our mind. There are no silos in implementation. I'll keep taking examples. When you go and shop on Amazon, it's typically like any device, anywhere, anytime access. They don't care whether you're coming in from a laptop or a desktop or a mobile phone or a smartphone. You basically, in 4 different steps, you're able to shop and exit, very, very quickly. And the
Hmm.
enterprise world has been, lagging in terms of that kind of an experience. So that the moment you bring in a superlative user experience back in the corporate world, agility comes into play. And that
Hmm.
essentially means that the front office, the middle office, and the back office, all three have to become one, what we call confluence, flow through provisioning, using what we call the SMAC concepts, which is social, mobile, analytics, cloud, looking at design thinking, looking at speed and agility, looking at intuitiveness. And we had this
Hmm.
principle in Wipro where if anything takes more than 3 clicks, whether you're ordering a new laptop or you're sending an email or you're closing books in terms of financial reporting, anything which
Hmm.
takes more than 3 clicks is not just good enough. So when you start
Hmm.
looking at these principles of breaking down those boundaries or silos in our mind and actual organizational behavior, then the whole organization comes into one. Examples I can give you from the outside world. At Wipro, we had made an entire brick and mortar bank into mobile banking 100%. You get onto HDFC net banking the way I do. I'm not sure when is the last time I visited an ATM, when is the last time I visited a branch.
Hmm.
The whole idea about everything being mobile enabled, being cloud enabled is the new mantra. And that's what we've been driving, at least in my career in Wipro.
Now, if you transpose the same idea of agility into leadership as a skill set, as a mindset for leaders to drive forward, what are some of the things or behaviors leaders should exhibit in an organization to say that I am an agile leader?
I would say, first of all, the leader should be in long term thinking. And most of us are, caught in this warp of what we call QSQT. It's not, Amir Khan's movie that got launched in the late 80s, but it's basically quarter se quarter tak, the people who understand Hindi. And
Hmm.
it's all about how is my week doing, how's my month doing, how's my quarter doing, and in a leap of faith, perhaps how's my annual year doing, financial year. But frankly, leaders who can think in what I call the infinite game, who can think for
Hmm.
10, 20, 50 years ahead for what the company should stand for, that's the kind of leadership that we're looking at. You're still focused on your quarter, but you're also looking at how the company will evolve and exist and still
Hmm.
be headstrong, 50 years from now. That's the first quality that I look at in a leader. The second, I always believe that attitude is above aptitude. So, someone
Hmm.
who comes in with a very positive way of thinking, is very collaborative, is willing to work in teamwork and invest on himself or herself, is a second hallmark that I look at. The third is a leader who's not shy of feeling vulnerable. And I've had these moments of truth. You try and pose that you're the strongest, you can't break down in front of your team, you can't even give them a flinch of space, saying that you don't know what's coming. But I would say the
Hmm.
hallmark of a leader is to be very humble and say that, yes, I'm vulnerable. I live in the VUCA world. It is volatile. It is uncertain. I don't know what's going to come next. But we as a team, will really uh, come together and make it happen. And the last I would say is inspirational leadership. People naturally fall in line if they find someone who's a leader, whom they're willing to trust, whom they're willing to depend on, saying that yes, he will ensure that he has my back at any point of time. An unflinchingly inspiration leader is what we're looking at. Those would be the four qualities I would look at, Harsh.
No, I love it, right? I think especially the first point around having that whole grand vision, dreaming bold, and saying, okay, who do I want to be as a leader? What will people know me for, 10, 20, 30 years down the line? And you rightly said, quarter se quarter tak. So a lot of us get caught in the doing part and we forget what we want to be. And I think it always has to work backward. Who you want to be as a leader? What do you want your organization to be known for? And then you work backward and see, okay, what do you now want to do to achieve that, right? So, in a way, that I think, and I also love the point on vulnerability, right? Saying, uh, I think it's okay to say I don't have all the answers. It's okay to say I don't know, right? I need help. I am also going through certain challenges, right? Because all of us have been personally, professionally impacted in this crisis. So I think that's a great point, right? Now, it seems to me these were always required for leaders to exhibit as skill sets, as attitudes, as mindset. Do you think that in the current crisis, the need for agility has become more acute?
I absolutely agree, Harsh. What hit us in January of this year globally, and then March in a very acute fashion. I don't think so. Anyone in their wildest of dreams would have thought that such a pandemic would hit us.
Hmm.
And the true nature of human spirit has actually come alive, and I've seen it all across, the globe. And if I were to talk about Wipro from an outside in view perspective itself, it's amazing how the company came together,
Hmm.
200,000 people, to make this happen. So after the first few hours or days of what I call the lockdown announcement, and people got their breath back, it was all about looking at how do you see employee health and safety? Are all people secure? Have they reached their respective houses or hometowns if they had to travel? From there, it was all about enablement. Are you connected? Because we're in a people world, in a tech world, you need at the minimum a laptop or a desktop and connectivity. So how do you make
Hmm.
sure that whether you have broadband at home, whether you have a dongle at home, how do you make sure that people get logistics, through cab services, through shipments? We were short of IT people at that time, and people from talent acquisition, HR people, sat with us head to head, shoulder to shoulder, 24 bar 7. And can you imagine an HR person taking a rapid fire training on how to install a laptop and sit with
Hmm.
us and actually do it and ship out 40,000 laptops and desktops in a short span of time? That was true human spirit in my view, which was coming together. Customers, who are normally are very, very tight-lipped and saying, this is the contract, follow it. They came to, help, saying, okay, tell us, how do we get your people more secure? How do we make sure that they are connected? How do we make sure security is taken care of? So that was a second instance where people actually, came in together to help each other. The third instance is that how do you keep the employee touch time in mind? And it's all about employee engagement. When you're there face to face sitting in a conference room, it's very easy to shake hands, to smile at each other, have coffee, and do all the gossip about the company and people, in between meetings. But when you're cut to cut sitting on a Teams or a WebEx or a Zoom call, you really don't get that space and time in between, and relationships are actually built in between meetings. So how do you keep that employee engagement? How do you make sure that the values of the company are still being translated, especially for the new joinees? 13,000 people joined Wipro, last to last quarter. How do they know what Wipro stands for? So it's all about collaboration and making sure that people are engaged. And the last, of course, is all about productivity. If I'm spending 8.5, 9 hours in office, and if I'm spending now 10 hours, sitting at home, am I more productive? That's extremely key. So true leadership, in my view, which was demonstrated, and I would say it's in three fashions. One is the larger population of 7 billion people, how we've come together. The second level is 200,000 people of a company coming together. And the third
Hmm.
is 200,000 individuals looking within and coming together. I've had so many people come back and say that, what, I've spent 9 months. I just want to get out. I want to, go out back into office. But I would
Hmm.
also say that this is a fantastic opportunity for you to, look within. I'm not sure when is the last time you could do uh, meditation, freely. When is the last time that you could take a walk within the apartment complex freely? When is the last time that you can spend hours and hours with your family together? So I think it's a great opportunity to look within, to be yourself, to find yourself, make the most of it, because once the lockdown gets over, life will go back to BAU, and you shouldn't end up missing this me time, which all of us crave for.
I think the spirituality part is definitely reflecting in the way you are now looking at life for sure, right? Which is a great thing. I think the me time is looking inside, digging deeper, and trying to discover yourself. I think this has been a great learning for a lot of us, really, right? And people have used this time really highly productively in terms of searching themselves, connecting in people, building relationships. So I think great points, right? Now, with all that effort being put by various companies in the last 8 9 months, we are here. We are here now, right? Where do you see today leaders most struggling with, not taking away everything which has been done so far? From your experience, where do you see leaders are most struggling today?
The first few months, Harsh, of the pandemic were all about survival, because
Hmm.
companies didn't know what hit them. Revenues went down. So, for example, if you look at plastic money credit card companies, people stopped going out and very few were doing virtual shopping. So the physical swipe came down by about 40% for the biggest credit card companies, and digital payments came into place. Travel companies business came down to zero. So the whole
Hmm.
idea is that how do you reinvent yourself from your traditional business? So I was talking to the CEO of a travel portal company. A lot of us would have used them, very effectively in booking tickets. And they have moved away from airline booking to what they call holiday booking, not also in hotels, but more in holiday homes and stays, where people thought
Hmm.
it will be a little safer and secure. How have credit card companies moved in from plastic money to digital wallets, as they call it? And people in India will be very familiar with GPay and Paytm, and different forms of virtual money that you would be doing. Telcos, they had a fantastic run because suddenly people started leaning on getting their broadbands and dongles, back, because you don't sit into in offices, anymore. And of course, they had a surge of traffic with Netflix, surge of traffic
Hmm.
with Amazon Prime. And then after 2 months, once people got a little bored and they said, fair enough, the data volume, what we call data services on 4G and now 5G, that plateaued. So the question is that, are you willing to reinvent yourself literally, by the week, by the day? People say it's a new normal, and I say it's a new normal every day. Something disruptive is happening in your business every day. And the
Hmm.
disruption is happening from non-traditional people. So if Amazon can get into healthcare, if Amazon can get into medicine, dispensing over the counter, what will happen to all the companies, which are there? There's a surge for not just companies like Pfizer and Moderna in terms of making vaccines, but the whole logistics around vaccines disposing of and dispensing.
Hmm.
It's big business itself. The whole business about PPE kit, the whole business about scanning people for corona, virus. And on top of that, the human spirit, is prime. Can you open up your offices to people who are underprivileged? For example, Wipro converted one of the Pune offices in Maharashtra and India into a 450 bed COVID hospital. The moment you
Wow.
start doing things like that outside of financials, outside of revenue and profitability and margin, it makes a huge difference. Wipro opened up its canteens and has served 320 million meals, and that has earned so much of goodwill from the larger population across the globe. Employees
Hmm.
have started doing more care work to social impact. And I remember one of my ex colleagues, Navjot, he's actually opened up an NGO called Two Meals Extra, where he goes ahead and takes meals from homes like apartment complexes and then carries them
Hmm.
and gives them to underprivileged people who may not have enough, to eat during the day. The moment you move out of your comfort zone and start doing something for a larger impact in society, whether it impacts you professionally or not, I think that's the human spirit. If people are able to keep alive, business will happen, business will grow, volatility will happen, but you will survive and you will thrive.
No, this is a great point. And I love the word reinvention because I'm a strong proponent of reinvention, and I like we have to reinvent the business model and all. But I think it all starts with you, right? With us. You can't change the world if you're not willing to change yourself, very right. So if you stick to that theme, and maybe one more question we'll take is when we think about reinvention, preparing for 2021 and beyond, what is your advice to leaders? Some do's and don'ts. What should leaders do and what should leaders don't do as they prepare for the next year and beyond?
I would say that continue to think big, perhaps even bigger than what we've been doing till now, for the
Hmm.
simple reason that how the business changes, you have to be many steps ahead of your peer group companies. So think different, show the speed and flexibility and the agility. If you are willing to launch a new product in 6 months, figure out how you're going to do it in 2 weeks, because that's the speed, and impatience is going to be the need of the game. In
Hmm.
my view, the entire digital experience will continue. So focus on tech, focus on AI, focus in a lot of design thinking. Those are the principles that will bring a lot of agility in your business. So even if you're a CEO or you're a CFO or a COO, have a technology bent of mind, because that is what is going to, give you that edge over others. And above all, encourage people. What's going on in someone's mind. And I was reading an article that 122 million people lost their jobs in India alone,
Hmm.
and most of them were daily wage laborers, who didn't have road work happening, didn't have construction happening, didn't have a household work happening. That's a massive, impact. And that spread even to the corporate world. There are people who've actually lost their jobs. There are people who've taken salary cuts. There are people who've been asked to move to different roles, perhaps which are not in their comfort zone. So the
Hmm.
idea is that how do you give a deeper human touch, to people, to make them feel wanted, to make them feel comfortable and more collaborative. What is going on in terms of stress? Like in Wipro, I remember we had opened up a club which does health and coaching fitness. We'd open up a
Hmm.
virtual club which talks about aesthetics and music instruments playing. And the moment you move into the more, I would say, the feminine side, and feminine is not a gender, it's more in terms of the creative side, the more the human element side of everyone's psyche. The sense of belongingness, the sense of urgency, the sense of energy that employers are able to show is absolutely unmatched. And we've seen that happening very effectively. Attrition rates have come down, employee engagements have gone up, productivity has gone up. I think that's the new mantra of the game.
Perfect. Sounds great. Cool. I think we are close to end. One final question to you, Rohit. What has been your personal biggest learning? Maybe one learning from this year, right?
I would say that see yourself in everyone else, and
Hmm.
life will be much, much better, a much more conscious world. And because I'm in the services world, I had served 200,000 people. Whenever I now call a phone banking person, I know what the challenge he or she may be going through working from home, where the connectivity
Hmm.
is not great. You have a child who's wanting to do something and there is noise in the background. I can appreciate all of that. The
Hmm.
moment you feel that the person that you're interacting with or demanding service is you, I think life becomes a much better world. So I keep telling people that serve people the way you would be like to be served. So whether it's a
Hmm.
Swiggy providing you food at the doorstep, whether it is phone banking which is giving you service virtually, whether you're walking into a general store and actually doing shopping, whether it's a stranger that you're meeting on the road who's jogging along with you, whether it's the CEO
Hmm.
of the company that you're talking to or your security guard, just be your humble, be your smiling, be your most cordial self. And whether it's professional or personal, life will be fantastic for all around you.
Yeah, that's great. I love it, right? Empathy, compassion, and I always believe that the world mirrors you, right? So if you operate in a particular way, the world will also mirror you the same way. I'll put you on the spot maybe one more time. Is final question, I'm sure. For this is, in hindsight, is there anything which you could have done better this year?
I always believe that life is a long runway, And a lot of people have asked me that, do you have any regrets in life that what you could have done better? I think the way the divine universe has planned it out for all of us is just perfect. Things happen at the right time, at the right place, with the right people. So while impatience is setting in, you could have gone back and said in the last 9 months, you know what, I could have done this better. I could have enabled people faster. I could have made them productive much faster. But rather than really crying over spilled milk, the whole idea is that learn from that and see what you could do better. So for me, last 9 months have been absolutely very, very transformative. I don't think so. I would like to go back and change anything, but definitely all the best to all of us for a very, very bright and prosperous future, and take the learnings to make a better place and better world for all of us.
No, love it, right? Learn and move on, right? Thank you so much, Rohit. Thank you. This has been really truly engaging discussion to hear your views around agility, about leadership, about confluence of technology, spirituality, and how we look at the world. I'll just open up quickly for some Q&A. If there is any questions and answers people want us to respond to. Priya Garwal says, what an insightful session. Thank you so much, Priya. Pankaj says, truly inspiration leader. I'm assuming this is for you, not for me, which is great. Thank you so much, Pankaj. Thank you for tuning in. There is if there is okay. There are a couple of questions. I don't know. There are questions. They're just comments. People are talking about engineering and shipping. I think this is related to. I don't know. There's no any specific question anybody has for Rohit. We can spend a couple of minutes to answer your questions. If not, we'll end. Anything finally you want to say, Rohit, while we wait for anybody? If anybody has any specific anything else you have to share?
I just feel that always look at the positive sides. There is so many beautiful moments around us, whether it's family, whether it's the food that we eat, whether it's the sun that is shining on us, all the simple things around life which we take for granted. Please appreciate that. Go and smell the flowers, take a deep breath in the rain, go and get wet, go and cycle. I've just bought a cycle after I think about 25 years in my life. And I'm now exploring Bangalore, all throughout. I'm going and meeting friends early in the morning. Just be yourself, keep the positivity around, and this world will feel that positivity and will respond in the same fashion. Wish you the very best in life and have a fantastic life ahead.
Thanks. I like the point around there's exploring the small things in life, and I think sometimes we lose that. And I actually teach my clients how to. I call that session called "Be Silly," and where you do these small things in a way which you've forgotten, and this is what we used to enjoy as a kid. So we have a couple of questions. Pankaj says, I think it's for you, Rohit. Who inspires you? This is Pankaj's question, Rohit, for you.
A lot of people, Pankaj, have asked me who's my guru. And if you ask me honestly, everyone is a guru for me. Unlike the olden times where you used to leave your house and be in a Gurukul, and then after 15 years come back as a mature man or a woman. For me, everyone is a guru. There is so much to learn from every person, whether it's family, whether it's a short conversation that I'm having with Harsh and with Pankaj, whether it's the people that you meet on the street for a few seconds itself. Everyone has something unique in him or her. If you're able to imbibe the essence of that person very, very quickly, then everyone around you is a guru, and there is no dearth of learning at all.
That's a great point. Keep your eyes and ears open, observe and absorb, and that's the best way to learn, really, right? So one more question we have from Parmeshwar. He says, is design thinking, let me rephrase the question, is design thinking relevant in uncertain situations? I think that's his question.
In uncertain
situations. Or how can design thinking help in uncertainty? Let me rephrase that question.
See, the whole idea about design thinking is that you move with speed, you move with agility, you succeed fast, you fail fast. So rather than saying that I will spend 2 years on doing design work, I don't know how many of you have done engineering drawing and construction work and architecture work. It takes ages and ages for you to design a building. And sometimes someone just comes and saying, scrap this, we start all over again. Design thinking, brings in about user experience at speed. So within a few days, you get to know whether you're in the right direction. If not, scrap it, move ahead. So this whole idea about succeed fast and fail fast is great in what we call the uncertain world, because you don't know what's going to come in next, whether it's a government regulation, whether it's compliance, whether it's a changed economy, whether it's a new investment that the government is making. You may never know what comes in your way. So if you're willing to evolve as a team together at speed with agility and break down the silos using design thinking, I think it's the best thing to happen to businesses.
Cool, that's a great response. And we'll take one final question from Shiva. He says that, how do you consciously develop gratitude in life? And I think people know your spiritual side of it. So that's what probably we are looking to explore and pick your brains. So the question is, how do you consciously develop gratitude in life? This is Shiva's question. And that will be the final question for today.
So Shiva, first of all, you have a fantastic name. I believe in Lord Shiv himself, part of the divine trinity. I would say that don't take anything for granted. Anything that comes your way, if within your breath you can just say thanks. You have electricity, say for it. You have water, say thanks for it. Someone has gifted you on your birthday, and tomorrow happens to my birthday. I'm willing to say thanks to a lot of people tomorrow. You get a promotion in your job, say thanks. You've bought a new kite in the festival, say thanks. It's raining and you have an umbrella, say thanks. Your parents have called you, say thanks. It's these small moments of truth where the moment you show gratitude for everything around you, you stop taking things for granted and you learn to cherish and treasure. All our lives, we want to look at that something big. I'm going to be meeting God. And then we realize that God is all around us, God is within us. And we end up losing all those moments of joy with family and with friends all around. So be grateful. I call it breathe in blessings and breathe out gratitude every breath, all the way.
I love that answer. Breathe out gratitude. So, Shiva, I hope that answers your question. How to consciously develop gratitude in life, and I also add, make sure you show grace and compassion to yourself. Also, right? A lot of times, we are good in showing grace to others, but sometimes we are harsh on ourselves. So just give yourself that grace, right? And it's important because all of us have been struggling these times. So important to give yourself also that breathing space while you show gratitude to people and experience around us, right? Perfect. So that brings us to the end of the discussion today. Thank you so much, Rohit, for joining, and for all those who have tuned in. I hope this was a insightful discussion for all of you, and thank you for all your comments and questions. And Rohit, once again, thank you so much, and let's stay connected. See you on the other side.
Thank you very much, Harsh. Thanks a lot, friends, for attending. Catch you soon.
Perfect. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.